masculine woody fragrances that I think smell fantastic. We're going to check out a lot of different woody fragrances, from intensely rich and warm woody scents to fresh scents and some fantastic compliment getters and more. Hi, welcome. I'm going to show you 12 fantastic woody fragrances for men. But before we get started, please drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it, and make sure you subscribe. So let's start with this thing right here. Yeah. This is intensely woody, rich, warm woody. This is Layton Exclusif, and Layton Exclusif is like Layton's brother, but a bit sort of edgier and definitely a lot more sort of serious. This thing is definitely darker and sort of edgier, but at the same time also more elegant. Layton Exclusif is woody and oudi, so you get that mix of different kinds of woods. Rich woody together with quite an intense warm dose of spiciness. However, that rich woodiness and the spiciness is balanced up in a fantastic way thanks to Parfums de Marly's sort of a signature vanilla. The performance, at least on my skin, has always been quite strong, and this is, since it's so intensely rich, warm, woody and oudi, is definitely something that leans more towards fall, winter and spring. I think what makes Layton Exclusif stand out among all the different woody fragrances out there, at least the ones I tried, is its rich woody and oudi scent together with Parfums de Marly's sort of a signature vanilla. Let's move on to a fantastic woody freshie. So this is Dior Homme Sport, and this, at least to my nose, definitely has some similarities to another fantastic woody scent, which is Dior Homme 2020. But this takes a more fresh direction, and also its woodiness, at least to my nose, is a bit different. This is masculine woody freshness, citrusy and spicy freshness on top of woodiness. The woodiness here, if you compare it to the previous one, Layton Exclusif, is very, very different. This is more of a light kind of woodiness. There's also something sort of a resinous going on in Dior Homme Sport. Performance on my skin is actually pretty good for being a freshie. It's nowhere near beast mode, but it's definitely above, somewhere between sort of above average and strong. When it comes to seasons, this is definitely something you can wear throughout the year. So moving on to a fragrance I feel is quite often overlooked. This one is from Tom Ford. This is the OG Noir. Quite different if you compare it to Noir Extreme and Noir Extreme Parfum. When it dries down, it becomes this masculine, primarily woody mix that's softly powdery and intensely ambery. This and everything is super smooth and a bit sort of a darkish. When it comes to performance, unfortunately, this on my skin is nowhere near beast mode, and I don't think this is a strong scent either, a bit above average. It's quite long lasting though. When it comes to seasons and occasions, this is primarily something for fall, winter and spring. A great date night fragrance, or simply when you want something that is quite masculine and quite different if you compare it to a lot of other fragrances. So next up we have this thing right here. I absolutely love the opening of Bentley for Men Black Edition. This is like an opening of freshness together with a very prominent dose of violet. And when it dries down, you get this fantastic mix of quite a rich but light woodiness together with that violet. And everything is a bit sweet as well. This is a fragrance that I feel is masculine woody with quite a prominent dose of freshness in the opening that can be used throughout the year. The performance, unfortunately, is not the best, but this is quite an affordable fragrance that you definitely can overspray. I think Bentley for Men Black Edition stands out among the different sort of a woody fragrance out there with its mix of that sort of a fresh opening together with its lighter but rich woodiness, and definitely the violet play part in making this feel quite different compared to a lot of other woody fragrances out there. So next up we have this thing. This is one I talked about before, and the reason why I talked about it before is because I absolutely love it. This is definitely top 3 or at least top 5 of the most unique scents ever to have come out of Gucci. This is Gucci Intense Oud. If you are looking for an elegant, classy, warm, spicy oud that's quite masculine with quite a prominent dose of amberness when it dries down, then this is definitely something you should check out. The performance on my skin is quite solid, and when it comes to seasons, this definitely leans more towards fall, winter and spring. I definitely think Gucci Intense Oud has quite a bit of uniqueness to it, and I do think that this balances between something raw and something mass appealing in a fantastic way. So next up we have this. This actually reminds me of like a mix of the OG Bvlgari Man in Black. So like a mix of Man in Black and Viktor Rolf Spice Bomb, the OG Spice Bomb, with like a hint of Spice Bomb Extreme, but with a twist. This is Man in Black Parfum. And if you ever smell the OG Man in Black, then this is, in a way, at least according to my nose, like a darker, slightly deeper version of that one. This has a prominent floral side with iris and tuberose, but this is a very, very masculine, intensely woody and spicy mix with that floral side. The performance is not the best. This is definitely not a beast mode fragrance. However, this definitely has better performance than the OG. When it comes to seasons and occasions, this definitely leans more towards fall, winter and spring. When it comes to occasions, I mean, dressed up with a nice suit and tie or with like a nice shirt and a nice pair of jeans, perfect. Date nights, going out, or special occasions for sure. So next up, this thing right here, this is from Dunhill. From what I bought from Dunhill, this is, I can't remember what the name of this line is, but this is definitely one of the absolute best from the line. And this is primarily a rich, leathery and woody scent with a focus on oud. And it has a fantastic hint of warm tobacco and a soft powderness to it. This is Dunhill Agar wood. I think this is absolutely fantastic. This is like a hidden gem. Performance on my skin is above average. However, this is definitely not a strong fragrance. When it comes to seasons and occasions, this is more for special occasions when you are going out. When it comes to seasons, definitely something leaning more towards fall, winter and spring. So next up we have this thing right here. I think this is, first off, I have a lot of favorite fragrances with Vetiver in them. I'm not the biggest fan though of overly green, damp or sort of a wet, however you want to describe them, Vetiver Focus Scents. This is one of few Vetiver Focus Scents that I think is absolutely fantastic. This is Grey Vetiver from Tom Ford. Essentially a Vetiver Focus Scent that opens up with a dose of freshness and dries down to a prominent mix of vetiver, woodiness and a bit of earthiness. This to me is a fantastic masculine, woody, fresh scent with a focus on vetiver. On my skin, this is not a strong one, but it's definitely above average when it comes to projection. It does last quite a long time on my skin. Now, I do want to mention that I absolutely love using Grey Vetiver for layering as well. When it comes to seasons, this is definitely something you can wear throughout the year. When it comes to occasions, I mean, this is such a masculine and classy and elegant scent. So definitely for like special occasions, but I mean, you can wear this for pretty much any occasion. So next up we have this thing right here, and I'm gonna try to not talk about this one too much because you probably already know that I absolutely love this thing. This is one of my fragrances for life, and this to me has a bit of the sort of a fresh spiciness from the Sauvage line, together with a fantastic and prominent dose of lavender and a bit of rich woodiness. It also has something sort of a licorice-ish and almost like a balsamic side to it as well. This is Dior Sauvage Elixir. This is absolutely beast mode performance. And sometimes when I talk about Dior Sauvage Elixir, I'm getting comments like, no one likes this. Everyone hates getting a whiff of this. I absolutely do not agree with that. This is an epic compliment getter. You don't need to spray that much to fill up a room with this, which makes this a perfect scent for going out or for special occasions or date nights, whenever you want something that gets attention and quite often pulls in compliments. When it comes to seasons, this is definitely something that leans more towards fall, winter and spring. But I wore this quite a lot on summer night outs, and I definitely think it works for summer night outs. This definitely has a big dose of uniqueness. This to me is a very, very masculine woody scent. Basically a mix of that sort of a classic Acqua di Parma freshness on top, together with a fantastic dose of lavender, so you get a bit of aromatic freshness in it, together with what is to me a super smooth dose of sandalwood, and everything is a bit sweet, slightly a sort of a soft sweetness to it. This is Acqua di Parma Sandalo, barber shop vibes meets super smooth woodiness, so it has a bit of sort of a soapiness to it. I think Sandalo stands out with, thanks to Acqua di Parma's freshness, together with that super smooth dose of sandalwood, and it's overall sort of a hyper masculine kind of scent. When it comes to performance, Sandalo, at least on my skin, has above average longevity and projection. This is, however, not a strong scent. As for seasons and occasions, this is a fragrance you can use throughout the year and to pretty much any occasion. So next up we have this thing right here, and this reminds me of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, that classic men's fragrance from Tom Ford. And I actually did a comparison between Versace Oud Noir and Oud Wood, so I'm gonna link to that one above, so feel free to check it out. This opens up intensely citrusy and spicy fresh, and dries down to an oudi and woody scent with a touch of creamy soft leather in the background. When it comes to the performance, unfortunately this is slightly above average, much like Oud Wood. When it comes to seasons, I know some feel you can only wear Oud Noir like fall, winter and spring, but I do feel you can wear this throughout the year, because even though this is intensely oudi and woody, I don't feel this is a super heavy or super deep kind of scent. For as an example, if I compare the woodiness and richness of Versace Oud Noir to the very first fragrance I talked about in this video, Layton Exclusif, you can't even compare them. That one is a lot deeper, richer, warmer and heavier. This is absolutely fantastic, but also very, very different. If you love intensely woody and amber scents, and if you think you would enjoy such a scent with a bit of booziness to it that is extremely classy and elegant, then this is probably something you should try out. Do not, however, blind buy this, because this is quite different compared to most other designer releases. I know some get beast mode performance out of Pasha de Cartier Parfum, but on my skin this is a bit above average but not strong. When it comes to seasons and occasions, this leans more towards fall, winter and spring. When it comes to occasions, basically when you want to stand out with something that is hyper masculine in a very woody and ambery way, pretty much like that. Do not spray this one on unless you really want to stand out with something that is quite different. So there you go, some fantastic masculine woody scents. Now I would absolutely love to know if you tried any of these and what you think of them, and I would also love to know which fragrances you have in your collection that you feel are quite intensely masculine and woody.